Aloha and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on This Is Now. First at noon, a new housing project on Kapiolani Boulevard is helping get homeless families off of the streets.
The Waikiki Vista offers emergency shelter, transitional housing, and affordable studio apartments, all in one 19-story building. The city acquired the building back in October 2022 for nearly $38 million. 4 floors are being used to help house homeless families until they can find permanent housing. Catholic Charities is the service provider.
It offers a place to stay while the parents can seek employment and school-age children can continue to go to school so that they don't fall behind in their education. We work with families with a 3-month goal of helping them secure more long-term housing through rent vouchers. We assist the parents on their job search and resume building while working with the State Department of Education in enrolling the children in the area schools. As of today, we have 21 families enrolled in the program. This is comprised by 37 adults and 41 minors.
The rest of the building will be affordable housing, or what we call workforce housing. And those for people experiencing at 60% AMI and below will be in housing here. And in the city's Department of Community Services, Work Hawaii, we have individuals already here that are in the rent to work program, where they've gotten themselves up to the place where we train them, we can give them jobs, and while they stay in their jobs, we give them rental assistance to stay in their rooms.
Mayor Rick Blangiardi says the Royal Hawaiian Band will also have a home in the building with rehearsal facilities. We're going to have more on this story online and on later editions of HNN. In Kaneohe, police are investigating an early morning assault and burglary. HPD says a 39-year-old man broke into his ex-girlfriend's home at around 5 a.m. yesterday morning and assaulted her. We're told her neighbor tried to help but was also attacked. Both victims needed care from EMS crews. The suspect was taken into custody about half an hour later. He's facing burglary and assault charges. HPD is also on the lookout for a driver in a Waianae hit and run. At around 3:30 a.m. yesterday, a 51-year-old man on a moped was hit by a vehicle trying to pass him on Farrington Highway near Alapoko Street. The moped rider was thrown off his bike and the other driver did not stop. The 51-year-old was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. No vehicle description has been made available, but if you have any tips, call HPD at the number on your screen. Honolulu police are also investigating the death of a 57-year-old man. He was pulled from the ocean by lifeguards, unresponsive at around 11:30 yesterday morning. Lifeguards did give the man CPR, but according to police records, he was rushed to a nearby medical facility where he was pronounced dead. The location given was somewhere in the Honolulu area, but no other information was listed. We'll give you an update when we get more information. The day after the 4th of July has been named the dirtiest beach day by the Surfrider Foundation. On July 5th, leftover rubbish is a common sight across the country and sometimes here in Hawaii. Casey Lund takes us to one of Oahu's most popular beaches for 4th of July celebrations with details on the findings and what's being done about it.
Yeah, it's become somewhat of a holiday tradition, at least for a lot of those environmental groups. July 5th, named the dirtiest beach day of the year by the National Surfrider Foundation, though we wanted to show you how things are shaping up here on the windward side. What started out as a pretty gloomy, blustery, and even rainy morning here at Kailua Beach Park turned into a pretty beautiful morning later on. You can see a lot of folks enjoying what we hope is a nice day off to end the week out and start the holiday weekend, or continue it, I should say. We do note that most of the garbage that was out here overnight was picked up and tucked neatly away, ready for city crews to pick it up. We want to take you back, although there was no fireworks show at Ala Moana Regional Park. This is some of the scenes from the fireworks show off Windward Oahu here off the shores of Kailua Beach Park. All that extra activity, picnics, parties, games, a lot of extra rubbish on the beach. Last year on July 5th, volunteers with the Surfrider Foundation picked up more than 100,000 pounds of trash at beaches around the country. More than 1,300 volunteers to be precise, 30 different events. Again, that's nationwide. We also checked to see if the Surfrider Foundation had anything going on for a beach cleanup today. They don't have any official events on Oahu, though if you're on the Garden Isle, Kauai Surfrider Group, they're planning to have their 4th annual July 5th beach cleanup at Honolulu Beach Park. That's at 9 a.m. if you'd like to volunteer. Getting out and doing what you can on your own, too, is always encouraged by the Surfrider Foundations to help after those holiday crowds leave our beaches. Also, Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii hosting a few different events this month. They're celebrating a plastic-free Hawaii in July. That Plastic-Free Hawaii cleanup is happening tomorrow, July 6th. That's in Haleiwa. That starts at 9 a.m. as well, and a workshop later. They also have monthly beach cleanups if you're interested. That's Thursday, July 11th for this month at the James Campbell Wildlife Refuge in Kahuku. A number of other events as they mark a plastic-free July here in Hawaii. Though a beautiful day on July 5th. We hope you had a good 4th of July. All those details, by the way, all those groups and the events for beach cleanup opportunities on our website at hawaiinewsnow.com. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
The state is trying to make it easier for the public to report illegal fireworks. The Department of Law Enforcement says it's now using the Safer Watch app, available at the website getsaferwatch.com. It's a way to anonymously send info and images of illegal fireworks to the state's task force. You can also call the anonymous tip line at 808-517-2182 or make reports on the DLE website at law.hawaii.gov. And if you lost your pet during all the fireworks last night, the Hawaiian Humane Society is offering tips for those who need help. You can file a lost pet report on the Humane Society's website. That will help teams reunite you with your pet if it's brought in. If you find a stray, you can also file a found pet report and bring the animal to the Humane Society's Mo'ili'ili or Ewa Beach locations.
Today is expected to be a pivotal day for President Joe Biden and his campaign. He held a rally earlier today and will sit for a network television interview as he continues to fend off growing calls for him to drop out of the race for the presidency following his disastrous debate performance last week. Erica Brown reports from Washington, D.C.
Thank you.
President Biden was fired up for his return to the campaign trail today. He made his case for another 4 years during a rally at a middle school in Madison, Wisconsin.
Now, you probably heard we had a little debate last week. Can't say it was my best performance. But ever since then, there's been a lot of speculation. What's Joe going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? What's he going to do? Well, here's my answer. I am running and going to win again.
After his poor performance in last week's debate, Biden has faced calls from some Democratic donors and a handful of lawmakers to bow out of the race, while many are taking a wait-and-see approach.
Joe Biden may have had a bad night, but 4 years of Trump is a nightmare, and I think the American people will make the right decision.
Earlier Friday, President Biden was asked if he could still win in November.
Can you still beat Trump?
The Biden-Harris campaign released a new game plan that includes a $50 million ad blitz with spots during the Republican National Convention and the Olympics, as well as what they're calling an aggressive travel schedule to the battleground states. But some Democratic voters in those states say questions about the president's fitness could jeopardize the election.
I think he's done a good job, but it's time that he stepped down for sure.
Another test for Biden will be his interview with ABC News, airing tonight in prime time. For his part, former President Trump will return to the campaign trail on Tuesday with a rally in Doral, Florida. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
The United Kingdom has a new prime minister and a new political party in power. Labour leader Keir Starmer met with King Charles III Friday to officially become the British prime minister a day after his party's landslide victory. In his resignation speech, outgoing Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said he took responsibility for the loss. The Conservative Party had been in power for 14 years, a tumultuous time marked by Brexit and multiple leadership changes. Back here on Oahu, city officials are moving to terminate a towing contract with All Island Automotive Towing after the city says an audit revealed it had been overcharging hundreds of drivers. The company hasn't responded to questions or the city's demands. Our Jelani Martinez has this story.
All Island Automotive Towing was contracted by the city in January 2023. City officials were made aware of the complaints about the fees during a town hall in Mililani 4 months later.
I guess there is supposed to be like a minimum versus maximum amount of charge that they can do, and oftentimes a lot of people get overcharged just based on the condition of the car or so on.
In a town hall April 6th, this Mililani resident told the mayor and his administration that he's been in a couple accidents and then asked this.
Is the city and county doing anything in regards to monitoring their contracts with these private firms?
Derek Mayashiro, Customer Services Deputy Director, said All Island Wreckers, also called All Island Automotive Towing, was contracted to tow abandoned vehicles and assist police with accidents.
They were found to be the most responsive and the best offeror as far as their services and their pricing.
Since the complaint, the city audited nearly 800 invoices issued between January 2023 and June 2023. It found inappropriate charges for towing services, including the mishandling of a $900 fee allowed under the contract. That fee is for removing vehicles from off-road locations like ravines and streams.
It's really egregious what's happened to so many people.
Councilman Tyler Dos Santos Tam chairs the Transportation Committee. He says he also heard a similar complaint from a constituent, but didn't realize the scope of the issue until the city's announcement.
The departments are supposed to exercise some oversight. There's the language in the contract in case of a dispute. But, really our goal is to figure out how this company took advantage of so many people and also how we can prevent it moving forward.
This Yelp review from a year ago said their car was towed after an accident and was told that the towing and storage fees are over $2,000. Another post warned others to be aware that All Island Automotive Towing charges $900 every 15 minutes.
That's really high.
Cindy Wong recently used their services. It cost $400 to tow her son's car from Manoa to Waikiki, a 3.7-mile distance.
I cannot imagine why it would be so much.
That's ridiculous to be charged $900. We're going to try to get to the bottom of it.
We've called and even went to their office, but All Island Automotive Towing declined to comment. Now, registered owners who did pay a $900 towing fee are encouraged to reach out to the city's Department of Customer Services by emailing csd@honolulu.gov or calling 768-4381. Reporting from Pearl City, Jolani Martinez, Hawaii News Now.
Accountability and action. Youth activists are making sure Hawaii stays on track to meet its climate goals. Emily Cristobal spoke with two of the plaintiffs who sued the state on the latest episode of The Debrief.
In today's episode, we are talking about a historic settlement reached between the state of Hawaii and 13 youth climate advocates. The case is called Navahine versus the Hawaii Department of Transportation. The lawsuit filed by the youth plaintiffs, who range from preteens to teens, alleged that the establishment, operation, and maintenance of Hawaii's state transportation system violated their constitutional rights to a clean and healthy environment and future. 2 years after the lawsuit was filed back in 2022, a settlement has now been reached, with a big pledge to create a solid and strategic plan for the state transportation system to achieve net negative emissions by 2045. Two of the youth plaintiffs, Kala'alapa Winter and Messina, joined me in the H&N Digital Center to explain the settlement and what comes next.
I think Hawaii is such an influential place. Everybody looks to Hawaii. Everyone in the world knows what Hawaii is. And this issue is, I think, one of the only issues that transcends cultures, transcends war, transcends religion, transcends borders, and that it's really going to take kind of looking past all of our differences on a global scale, because the atmosphere wraps around all of us.
Yes.
And it doesn't care whether you live in this country, or you believe this, you believe that. It's going to affect everybody.
The amount of education that's going to need to be done is a huge issue. I will say I'm from a very small community where in all honesty, like certain things are not really widely accepted. I know as a Hawaiian, a lot of Hawaiians don't trust the government, and I think that's 100% valid. I think after everything that's happened to us, 100% valid. But I think that's another huge reason this case is such a big, groundbreaking thing, because there are Hawaiians in this case. There are Hawaiians who have lived our whole lives as Hawaiians who olelo, we are paving the way for our grandchildren's grandchildren, as I've been saying, to have lives here as Hawaiians and exist here. And I think that for Lahui, that education is really important, because unfortunately a lot of our communities like mine, there's a lot of miseducation, there's a lot of uneducation, because quite frankly there's just that access to education is not possible, right? Understanding what an electric vehicle does and why is it better than my Yoda is not really like a conversation being had, but those are the conversations that need to be had at the dinner tables of all people in Hawaii.
You can watch the full interview on our website and on HNN's digital platforms. This is Emily Cristobal for Hawaii News Now.
U.S. job growth cooled as expected last month, but the labor market remains strong. That's according to new data released Friday by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. 206,000 new jobs were added in June. That's down from 215,000 the month before. The unemployment rate inched up from 4% to 4.1%. That marks the first time since November that the jobless rate was above the 4% mark. The largest chunk of jobs added in June were in the public sector, specifically in local government, followed by the healthcare industry. Let's send you live outside now for a look through the eyes of our tower cam. A beautiful Aloha Friday. It's only 82 degrees, but this summer sun makes it feel much hotter. Stay with us. We'll have more news and weather after this break.
How's it on this Friday? We're into the second month of hurricane season, and it's still very quiet here in the Central Pacific, but there are clouds upstream embedded with some showers. That's why we'll see more of this stuff, which is light scattered showers moving through with the trade wind flow. This morning, Oahu catching most of the rain. The rest of the state looking fairly dry. So we're not going to see a whole lot of rain, though, even though we will have a surplus of trade winds for the next several days. Trade winds will be running nice and smooth today, 10 to 20 miles an hour. So it's going to be a comfortable day in terms of humidity levels, but we are expecting lots of afternoon sunshine. High temperatures running to about 87 degrees. Although, like the last couple of days, you cannot rule out a stray shower moving through from time to time, although rainfall totals will be on the light side. Speaking of the light side, surf's going to be rather small. No significant swells are expected anytime soon, with the biggest waves rolling into the east side, although it's going to be choppy out there. And those trade winds, well, they're going to hold firm all the way through the early part of next week, getting stronger over Monday and Tuesday. But if you're making plans for the weekend, make plans to go outside and enjoy the best weather on the planet. So again, we're going to see an increase in trade wind speeds Monday and Tuesday, and there's a chance, just a chance, for a few more showers on Tuesday as well.
The TSA expects to set a new record for the busiest day ever at its checkpoints. The travel surge means more prohibited items could be found in passengers' luggage. Chris Van Cleve shows us some of the unbelievable items that some people tried to bring on board to planes.
The expected record rush of summer travel means a flood of people at TSA checkpoints and a surprising pile of airport no-nos.
We've seen anything from chainsaws in carry-on baggage. Chainsaws, yes.
Michael Doretto is TSA's Deputy Federal Security Director for LAX in Los Angeles.
We've seen large power tools, saws. Recently, we saw a hobby rocket, but a large rocket that came through our check baggage.
I'm just amazed that somebody could get a chainsaw into a carry-on bag.
You could say that people will try to pack the kitchen sink if they could.
Officer Martin Garcia says he's seen it before.
Eleanor's kitchen sink.
Literally a kitchen sink?
Kitchen sink, yes.
That fit in a carry-on bag?
Yes.
He showed us some of the things recently found at checkpoints. A throwing star, good for a ninja, bad for a plane. So are knives, tasers, or hand grenades, replicas or not. And that is an electric sander, not a carry-on item. Every Independence Day, there's a spike in fireworks. Explosives of any kind are a no-go.
Are folks surprised when you say you can't bring fireworks on board?
They really are. They're really surprised.
This unloaded handgun in her bag got Congresswoman Victoria Spartz stopped at Washington Dulles last week. More than 3,000 firearms have been found at checkpoints so far this year. TSA says it's on pace to top last year's record of more than 6,700.
If you want to travel with a firearm, you absolutely can. You just have to check it in your check bag, declare it to the airline, and properly lock it.
Samurai swords, not allowed in a carry-on. Neither was this machete spotted by screeners in New York. And in Miami, that is a bag of snakes a passenger hid in their pants. But the most common prohibited item, a bottle of water. So drink up before you line up. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Los Angeles.
It's an art show like no other. Some young artists are debuting their creations on a huge and unusual canvas, the Las Vegas Sphere. The first of its kind contest features 4th of July themed works from local students ranging in age from elementary school through college. The Sphere, which just turned a year old, is the world's largest LED display, standing 366 feet high. The older entrants designed their artwork with virtual reality headsets, while the younger aspiring artists use pencil and a paper. The top designs not only get displayed on the Sphere, but the 4 high school and college winners score a $10,000 scholarship. The elementary or middle school, which the 4 younger winners attend, will receive money donated to their art programs.
Hey, happy Aloha Friday, everyone. Davis here in the Digital Center with your weekly sports update. Now, a former UH volleyball star is giving back to the community. That's right, we're talking about Jakob Tella, one of the best setters to have ever played at UH. Now, the All-American recently held an online auction for some of his UH gear, with all funds going to Special Olympics Hawaii. Now, all of his gear recently sold out very quickly, of course, and he raised over $4,000. Tella chose Special Olympics Hawaii after a chance encounter with one of their athletes, and they quickly became friends. Special Olympics Hawaii fundraises year-round to give the best opportunities to its athletes, and donations like these go a long way in helping the organizations. Yeah, Jakob was really one of the most dynamic players to have ever played here in Hawaii. He told us multiple times that Hawaii has a special meaning to his heart. So great to see him again. Now we're going to have the latest updates for you guys on our sports podcast, HNN Overtime, featuring Sienna, Kyle, and I. Make sure to check that out wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Davis. Happy Aloha Friday, everyone.
2 young girls are working to brighten up hospital stays for some of the smallest patients by improving what they wear. Michael George has more.
In between homework and trips to the Jersey Shore, these 2 sisters spend time in their basement sewing colorful hospital gowns for children. 13-year-old Juliana remembers the oversized green gown their 1-year-old cousin had on as she successfully battled brain cancer in 2017.
So my family had purchased her a hospital gown with like fun prints, like it had Disney on it and like princesses and stuff. So then I went to a sewing camp over the summer the next year, and then I remembered that I had noticed that about the hospital gowns, and I realized that I wanted to do something to help kids like her.
Since that moment, Juliana and her 11-year-old sister Audrina have sewn and donated more than 1,800 gowns.
I feel great. I love when I could help out because I like seeing the smile on the kids' faces even though they're going through such a hard time.
Local businesses have chipped in to help the girls, including a hospital linen company that cleans the gowns before they're sent to patients, which is especially important for kids with weak immune systems.
There's always something small you could do to make a difference. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could just be something really simple.
The gowns have been given to patients in 36 states and even Uganda, with 3 more African nations set to receive some later this year. Michael George, CBS News.
Amazing work
Precious.
there. Yeah, let's end things today outside again. This time we take you to the beautiful Hilo Bay Coconut Island on this lovely Aloha Friday.
We're going to have more news coming up first at 4 on KHNL. Until then, have a great weekend and happy Aloha Friday.